What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome back to Endure, Believe, Rise. I hope this message reaches you in good energy. I hope you and your loved ones are in good health. So, I'm on my way to the gym. If you're on your way to the gym, if you're about to go give a motivational speech, if you're about to have a long day at work, or you're about to get your day started and you need to get energized, get hyped up, get your energy levels risen, this message is for you. So we're doing another moment that gets me hype. And today's moment that gets me hype comes from the movie Troy. Now, if you've seen the movie Troy, you could probably think of a few scenes that I'm about to talk about. If you haven't seen the movie Troy, this is your spoiler alert to stop the video, go watch it, and then come back, right? But without further ado, the moment that gets me hype, Achilles asks, is there no one else? Now, in the beginning of the movie, two armies are about to fight. The two kings come to the middle. They're talking. They're like, you're not supposed to be here. And he's like, hey, I'm going to take your land and you can defend yourself if you can. And one of the kings suggests, why don't we settle this in the old way? Instead of having all of these men die and everything like of that nature, this big chaotic war, we'll take your best man, we'll take my best man, and the winner will decide the outcome of the battle. He says, okay. So the first king calls for his man, and everybody starts cheering. Ah! And you see this big Hulk bear of a man come out of them, right? Like 3 and 4 times the size of all the other soldiers. And he's standing there, and he's bare chested, and he's, got his weapons with him. And then the next king calls for his man and says, Achilles! And then you hear everybody start laughing because nobody comes out. And the other king with the big Hulk of a man says, he's like, it's okay, my man, my soldier, he has that effect on people. And the king's like, where's Achilles at? So they ended up having to go get Achilles because Achilles was still hung over and drunk from the night before. Go figure, right? So they go get him. They come out. Achilles comes out, and the king's upset. Agamemnon's upset. He's like, have you whipped for your insolence and all this other stuff. So Achilles is like, you know what? Fine. Well, you go fight him, and I'll go back to, you know, sleeping off my hangover. So the one king who has the big Hulk, right, of a man, the big bear, and he's like, he convinces Achilles, like, look, if you fight, all these men can be saved, and your name will be remembered, da 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 da. So Achilles is like, fine, right? He walks over, he starts jogging toward the man. And this is where you start to see a shift because Achilles is normal size, right? Maybe a scale bigger than the other soldiers, but Achilles isn't by any means this big bear, this big lion, this big tiger, right? But you see this big Hulk of a man start taking these big breaths. And I'm like, hey, yo, what's he got to be, anxious about? Then you see him turn toward his army and he starts charging himself. They're like, yeah, get him, right? So the guy's running. Achilles is running toward the guy, and he throws the first spear. Bam! Achilles blocks it with his shield, throws his shield down. Achilles keeps running. Guy throws his second spear. Achilles dodges it. Achilles gets within like 5 feet of the guy. The guy has his sword drawn, barely able to even swing toward Achilles. Achilles jumps to the guy's left, to the guy's right, the guy's left, and inserts his sword in the top of the dude's shoulder. And as it goes down, goes into his heart and kills him with one blow. And like that in and of itself would have been enough for like the moments that get me hyped to see somebody of a smaller stature outwit, outsmart, outmaneuver someone who obviously had a physical advantage over him, right? You know, if they were in a closer combat situation, if Achilles wasn't wise enough to use his speed and agility, if Achilles would have let his ego get the best of him and try to, like, that enough was enough to moment to get inside. But what happens after that is where the moment that gets me hyped comes from, where I got my chills. Because at the end of the day, Achilles walks over to the guy. He walks over to the army and he says, "Is there no one else?" And this right here, if you've seen Troy before, I want you to go back and I want you to rewatch it, because you may not have paid attention to the significance and to the details of the scene. But I want you to look at the soldiers when Achilles walks over there. All of them are looking away. They're looking in the distance. They're looking down, but none of them are looking in Achilles' eyes. And then he says it again. Is there no one else? And that's the moment I got hyped, because it's not that it's not because he intimidated an entire army, right? It's not because he took out, you know, a guy who was who had, you know, some strengths bigger than him, but it's the fact that Achilles didn't just do it to win. He did it for the love of the game. Like, he's like, I'm hungover. I'm just wearing, this is just wearing off. I'm just getting back to myself. And I just had an easy one. So I just ran an easy one. Like how many times do you hear that in modern days? You don't, right? You can't, right? Where a boxer demolishes their opponent and he's like, send another one in real quick. Run it back. Is there anybody in the back who might have been warming up, who thought, the closest you get is you see to people like a Stylebender. Man, his name is eluding me. Israel Adesanya, and Alex Pereira. These MMA fighters, they take quick turnaround notices, right? You see fighters like that, and I apologize because there's some probably less, popular fighters who do the same. I just haven't been in MMA like that. But that's why it got me hyped. Not necessarily because of the violence, not necessarily because of the showmanship, but the detail to the scene, and knowing when you get to see all the pieces, right? Like, Achilles is doing this for the love of the game. Like, he's in love with the process, right? He's in love with the fact that this is what it's going to take to get him. Like, I remember when I started working out, how much I hated legs. I hated legs. I hated working legs. Everyone around me hated working legs. Everybody hates legs. People are notorious for skipping leg day. I remember how much I hated legs. And I listened to a motivational speech by Eric Thomas, and he was talking about the process. And sorry, that was one of my friends. And how he's in love with the process. And and it made me think, like the thing, and it was other motivational speakers, it was other quotes, but it was just like, the thing that people hate, the part of the job that you hate, the part of the process you hate, learn to love that, and you'll be 12 steps ahead. So I remember I started putting together my training routine, and I said, we're not going to work legs once a week like people do. We're not going to work legs twice a week like some people do. We're not going to do it more intensely than everybody. We're going to do all of that and more. So I got to the point where I worked legs every single day. Now, did I work them to the point of exhaustion? No. Did I work them to the point of failure? No. But I got to the point, and I'm at the point now, where I can do a leg workout with someone, and the next day I'm still able to do legs again, whether I'm sore or not. I got to the point where it's hard for someone to make me sore when it comes to a leg workout. It's hard for somebody to exhaust me. I can exhaust myself, But when it's somebody, and that's the process, and now, and you can see that, and people admire that, and and it's not bragging or boasting, but the process works when you are in love with the process, when you are committed to the process, when you're doing it for the love of the game, when you're doing it for the results. The processes come, the results come, the goals, the achievements, and that's just that. What that moment reminds me is just like he could have walked off. He could have walked off, walked back over there, and people could have been like, okay, he won. That man said, is there no one else? Like, don't wake me up again. Don't have me ride back out here because somebody else got curved. Talk now. Speak up right now. I'm here. And that's just one of the hardest movies in cinematic history. It's one of the most encouraging things. All right, guys. I need you to take care of yourselves. Please be kind to one another. Keep me in your prayers. I'll forever keep you in mind. Endure, believe, rise.